All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Not So Wide Divide. The boys are back together, y'all. It's been some weeks since we've had everybody together. We've done some here and there shots, but the boys are back together, so we're going to wrap together, just kind of catch up, see where everybody's been. So I want to welcome my counterparts in this project, Mr. Tory Brown and Mr. Cody Noblock.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Where y'all been? Where you been, Tory? Cody?
I've been here.
Yeah, you been here.
I've been here.
Tory said it's on YouTube too, so everybody sees you eating. You'll be all right.
Yeah, all right. Let the man finish chewing, man.
We had some scheduling conflicts, and Tory is such an amazing employee that he had to skip us to stay to his career. So
I go on call for my job every 3 weeks. That's the only reason I missed. I wasn't blessed to have 2 work vacations, to where I had to try to rush a podcast and have everybody here, But hey, that's pretty much where I've been,
You didn't go to Colorado and ski?
No,
and stuff?
man, no skiing, no CBD, none of that, man. I was here riding around in a vehicle from anywhere from Bell Rose to Cocodrie. Yeah. Trying to make sure people could get internet, telephone, and TV.
Be in people's attics and stuff.
Yeah,
sweating.
You ain't in nobody's attics anymore.
Man, I'm in the attics, man. I'm not that supervisor that just.
They said y'all just sweating right alongside his people, bro.
I'm right there. Yeah. Let's go to war together.
But boy, they got to be out of here on these days when we do these podcasts. Hey, clothes got to go. Ain't got no time. They not edited.
2 hours, man.
Together, but it's all good.
2 hours talking. But other than that, man, yeah. That's it. Just
so what's going on good in your world, bro? Like where you at?
Well, man, of course, I haven't been here since the Derek Chauvin deal.
That is true.
That was huge for the culture, if it makes sense, and it
absolutely makes sense.
It was kind of horrible for the culture, if it makes sense. Once that verdict was read, I'm gonna go ahead on. Once that verdict was read, just to see other brothers and other black people be happy because a cop finally got held accountable. And it's just scary, to be in this day and age in America, and that's what we celebrated as a culture. So that was kind of uplifting and scary at the same time, because we shouldn't be having to do that. Watching that trial and watching what the charges was and seeing that it just had to be doubt put into the jury's mind that could have allowed this cop to walk was amazing, and seeing how we turn up behind this and really get mad at America for it when it's really how the law is written, like Cody said when we first started talking about this, and that's dangerous. That's a dangerous law because of what it could happen, and just even looking at that, and if he would have been found not guilty, that we had the National Guard there, not policemen, the National Guard there to defend civilians. Like, going through this, man, I'm thinking like, man, look at our world. Like this one verdict could really make us close to a third world country.
That was that low, and that was my same thought process when I watched the verdict, and I was like, man, when the National Guard, they were talking about the National Guard, they were showing their lineup, and I was like, they thought the King situation was bad and the riots in L.A. That's not going to hold a candle to this if they don't do the right thing here.
Right.
And I'm not going to lie, I'm glad he was, but I did not think he was going to get found guilty on all 3 charges.
Me either.
Now,
I did have an issue with the jury not being sequestered, because it's kind of, and I don't want to go off on too many different little tangents, but it's kind of the same point that I had with the whole voting issue, right? Like, why not, make it to where you don't have to guess, because right now people are saying, well, the jury wasn't sequestered, they went home, they watched the news, they getting this external pressure on them to make sure they convict on all charges. Why not sequester these people and take all that doubt away from the verdict? I don't understand why, because you're risking mistrials. You're risking. All it's gonna take is one of those jurors. Now, I know you'll see in the news that they say, "Oh, this juror admits that she was pressured." That was a standby juror. That wasn't an actual juror on the. But all it takes is one of them to say, "I felt that external pressure, so I convicted." And now you're gonna retry it, and we're back to the same doggone crap again.
Yep.
All right.
I don't get what, you know.
And two, I don't care, man. Like, we need to change this where the cop could say he didn't have to get on the stand. Because
Well, everybody has that right.
I understand, Cody, but when we killing or having an accident, I just don't see how you want the judge, the lawyer, to present doubt. You want your lawyer then to make everybody else seem wrong.
But
let me finish. Let me finish. Right. You know, and we got this one man dead that can't never speak for himself, and yet you want the world to believe that you're innocent, but you don't want to speak for yourself.
Well, it's not your job to prove your innocence. It's the
again,
prosecution's job to prove your guilt. Because we're in this country, we're innocent until proven guilty, and we don't want to lose that, Tory. We do not want to lose that.
But I mean, if you behind bars, you ain't too innocent.
Until you're proven guilty. But there has to be enough probable cause in place to keep you behind bars.
Right. But I mean, from what we're looking at, what probable cause we needed
to keep him incarcerated.
There's a
long criteria that like,
right,
because most people are awarded bail, right? But it depends on
he was out on bail,
but on cases where the judge takes into consideration, a lot of it is prior record. They take
Flight
into
risk,
case your flight risk. They take into case your monetary availability to become a flight risk. Like, if this guy had a home in Europe, he wouldn't have been out on bail. Right. So all those things come into play, and you can't take a right away from him just because
I don't want to take a
did.
right away from him, but I don't want him to be able to be like, if it's that right. You say, what all rights we have? Name rights we have.
Well, I mean, freedom of speech.
But once you go to jail, name what rights you still have in there. Because once you say freedom of speech, we know.
But there's a difference between going to jail and being convicted of something.
All I'm saying is, I just want a murderer to have to take the stand, especially if you're in a badge.
I understand that. Well, he's not a murderer until he's convicted.
Right.
Right.
I mean,
by law. By law.
Well, by our country's standards, right? Because if not,
that's a law.
Go to Singapore and you get caned before you get tried.
Right.
Like, it's not about that. It's a judge, jury, and execution.
So what's the fear in that then?
What's the fear in what?
What's the fear in Singapore if you get caned before you do it? Most crimes you ain't gonna do.
It's illegal to chew gum in Singapore.
Man, you're being a politician.
I'm not. I'm just simply saying, because one comes with both. One comes with the other one. Right? Like, you can't sit here and say that.
I'm not sitting anywhere. I'm just asking a question. I asked
so what
about,
was your question?
You said, Tory, you can't take a person's rights away, right? I say, well, there's certain rights you have when you're not in jail that you're not, but because it's the law, you can't do it. It's the law. It ain't nothing human. That's a law, right?
Okay.
It was something. It's a law, exactly. So all I'm saying is, if it's a law, certain parts of the law, if you in uniform and you commit what he did, not saying if it was just a rare accident, the fact that it was however many minutes after he was unconscious, he was still there. He was still there.
But we can't. It's a slippery slope when you start talking about taking a right away from an individual.
In uniform, making a different law for an individual in uniform that has killed someone.
So what is your proposal? What are you saying?
This is me speaking.
I understand that. So if you want to take something away and add something, what
is you talking about,
like,
Jared? I'm not taking anything. I'm saying, did you hear me?
You just said, you said you wanted to take his right away.
I didn't say. I say we need to put into the law, if you kill somebody in uniform, you should have to take the stand. I didn't say take anything away. So I'm saying
that should be something. Part of
just like once he did it, we had to prove him innocent or doubt. All right, cool. I understand that. So let's add another one to it. You know, because all his lawyer had to do was prove that or make doubt that he didn't die from his knee. he died from something else, correct?
I mean, there's a lot. I mean, yeah, you said create
What was
create reasonable doubt.
Reasonable doubt, right?
That's all right.
But that's in every law, regardless of badge. You know what I'm saying?
I that's why I said specifically, if you did this to somebody in uniform, you should have to take the stand. That's what I'm saying. They should put something into it.
And so, and speak, answer the questions, not have so you lose your Fifth Amendment right.
If you in a uniform, just like for instance, when you go to work for a job, if it's a traveling job, it's not illegal for you to drink your alcohol while you off. But if you go to work that Monday and that alcohol still in your system and something come, even though you didn't drink that during your shift, you gonna get fired, huh? Or you gonna have some type of.
But you're talking about civil stuff versus criminal stuff.
I'm talking. What's
Just
civil
the law.
about
The
what I
law is
just
the law.
said?
That's what you're saying,
Right.
right?
What's civil about what I just said, Cody?
A job firing you.
Man,
civil.
I'm talking about the rules to that job and the rules to the law, period. The rules of that job is you cannot drive under the influence, correct?
But job rules and law are different.
Cody, this is my opinion.
I get that. I'm trying to understand your opinion.
All I'm saying is, you saying, Tory, you want him to take his Fifth Amendment right away. If you gonna be a cop and you could say, hey, I fear for my life and shoot me, or hey, I was doing what I was taught and stand on my neck for forever, that you wouldn't do if you was a regular person, that badge and the law protected you to do some of those things, right? So while you still in that badge or whatever that law is, let's also implement things to stop you from just being able to just.
So what happens if he's fired in between the trial and the incident?
What you mean?
Like Derek Chauvin was no longer a police officer.
He's getting done for the crime he committed while he was a police officer. Cool. I don't. So if I shoot you in Texas,
but let me
hold on. If I shoot you in Texas and I go to Louisiana, you should leave me alone for that crime.
No.
Right. So if I kill you as a cop, but I quit while I'm in jail, hey, you can't do me nothing for that. That's basically what you just asked.
No, you're asking essentially that when people choose to become public servants and choose to put their life on the line and wear the badge and do their job,
it doesn't give you a pass to not.
He's in jail. He's incarcerated.
Man, Cody, you're not see.
But you're asking me to give up my
I'm not asking
rights.
you to give up shit, Cody. I'm saying this is what I think. If you're in uniform and you kill a man, I don't like the fact that you don't have to take the stand. But without you saying a word, a lawyer could present doubt and you walk.
But let me just present this thing to you. So, if he takes the stand, right, and that proprosecuting attorney or that defense attorney is top notch.
If he wins, he wins.
And he asks a simple question of, because again, the jury's job is to find innocence of guilt or provide reasonable doubt. So if he takes the stand, because it goes both ways, right? And he simply asks that question.
Strictly just my point of view.
Now, I understand that, and I'm not trying to change your point of view. I'm just trying to get an understanding across the board that you say, if this does change, right? If this says, if what your opinion is an opinion held by many, right? And it's something that needs to go and say, hey, look, we need to change this.
That's not what,
right?
This is strictly me, Tory Brown's opinion. Not a million other people, because
I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying you are.
Yeah. And I'm just giving you my opinion.
Yeah, I'm just posing both sides of what you're saying.
But I ain't really looking for the other side of what I'm saying.
I didn't say that you was. I'm just simply saying that if that happens, how would you feel about this situation is where I'm going, right? And that him taking the stand, saying that he has to, because he no longer is protected by his Fifth Amendment right, because you feel that way, and that's
because he took the job to wear that same badge.
Correct.
That's going to allow him to do certain things that another civilian can't do.
Right. Like if they change that law today, any cop getting into that knows that
I'm signing when I sign up for a police officer.
I get that. If they change that and somebody chooses to be a cop, that's fine.
That's all I'm saying.
But
let me out.
I would say would that still affect me, because that law would be put in after I'm 20 years into my career.
Yes, any law is going to be proactive. So, but what I'm saying, that signs in the law.
Going forward, yes. Yeah. But at that time, you've been here. See, and then that's still a devil's advocate, because of the simple fact that how long you been here? 15, 20 years, you say?
I've been 20 years.
20 years. So, knowing your history in 20 years, why would you feel that that would derail you as a cop?
Because it's not my job to prove my innocence, because we live in America. It's the prosecution's job to prove that I'm guilty.
If I think like it's not my job to prove myself innocent, right? Listen to that. It's not your job to prove yourself innocent, because we in America.
One of the beautiful things about this country is everyone is innocent until proven guilty. So that you can't.
Would you feel the same way? Would you feel the same way if you had to sign something with charter that said if something came missing in a household that you worked at, that you had to testify?
Yes. Yes.
That you don't have the right to say, you got to say that I stole that. It ain't my job to.
Yes. Know why? Because who better to speak for me than me?
But I understand that point. But who better to incriminate yourself but you? Right? Certain things that you say, lawyers, that's how doubt is created.
Right.
By you talking.
That's just right. But I mean, like you say, it's still my amendment. Regardless of this going on with the doubt.
But that's what I'm saying. If they said you have to potentially incriminate yourself.
So hey, let's completely wipe out what he just said. Your question was, if charter said, Tory, you had to sign this, and somebody said something coming missing out of their house, you had to go wherever for it. I said yes.
You'd have to testify.
In the discussion, because I know my character. Regardless of what they had to prove and this and that, I'm gonna go to bat for myself. So you asked the question, I said yes, I would sign, because I don't have no problem going into a customer's house. And
that's not the problem.
But that's not what you. And how often you going? So I've been working this job 11 years. Out of 11 years, one person said something came up missing out of their house while I was there. 11 years, one person. How many years has Derek Chauvin been doing his job?
I couldn't even
I'm
tell you.
not sure. He was a veteran, so
how many times he had?
He had quite a few. And look.
So when you lenient to, once again, when you lenient to discipline and consequence, you gonna play it out.
I 100% agree with you on that.
Yeah, correct. I'm 100%. With you too. I'm not.
And I'm with you. He should have been. His level of accountability should have been to a point that we never got to George Floyd. I'm 100% with you on that. I'm not opposed to like people were saying, oh, we need a national database to keep track of law enforcement officers' disciplinary records. I'm not even opposed to that, because like you said, I do my job to the best of my ability, and I have no problem answering anything that I do. But I don't want to give up my rights.
That'll cover you in case you do F up.
It's not to cover you.
It's not to cover everybody.
You can simply misspeak something.
See, once we start saying everybody, I know everybody got that right. That's common sense. I'm simply saying, if you're in a uniform and something happens to where somebody dies at your hands,
but this is the thing. You
shouldn't be granted the option of not testifying.
But that's
my strictly
I get that.
And I'm fine with you having that opinion. My opinion on it is this. The laws are written by attorneys. The procedures.
That's a fact. That's not an opinion.
That's a fact. Yeah, that's actually.
I know, but I want your opinion. I don't want no facts, because I'm strictly giving you my opinion.
I know, but I'm trying to present facts that lead me to the opinion that I have. Okay?
See,
laws are written by attorneys for attorneys. They're written in a gray area where you can argue one way or the other. And it's written like that so that you have to have an attorney. Now, you're talking about me, who's not an attorney, sitting on a stand and going to get somebody whose sole profession for the last 15, 20 years is making somebody slip up so I can go, aha, I got you.
Right, but I'm not saying you shouldn't have an attorney. Somebody else could defend you, but my whole thing is, regardless, if you if you slip up, you slip up.
But dude, you know how many people go to jail for that exact thing that you're saying?
Hey, if I sign a paper saying I'm going to protect and serve before I'm down there.
No. I get that. I'm not.
That's my whole point. It's nothing else about how many people get caught up in the slip. It's just about, if I know as a cop that only if I kill somebody or somebody dies in my care will I lose this. No other reason. Guess what? a lot of people are going to go home at the end of the day, G. It ain't nothing about the right. It's about the right to live versus the right to not go sit behind bars for a few years.
No, I understand exactly what you're saying, and I'm not disagreeing with your opinion. I'm not at all. Like Cody said, I agree, and we have said this a number of times. I do think that there should be a national database for for police, write-ups or whatever, their record. I do think that cops should be held to a higher standard than a civilian.
Right.
I don't think that an approved training technique that results in the death of somebody should be your escape out of a crime. I don't. Because it's still, the human element of it still says, hey, you still knew he wasn't breathing. You still knew, like, he's no longer detained. He's no longer.
And we all went over that.
And we all agree with that.
Yes,
we all on the same page. Again, my opinion. There's no buts. I'm just simply, again, your opinion, his opinion. My opinion still says that I look at everything saying that if you're going to hold this person accountable for this, not accountable, but if you're going to change somebody's rights because somebody's constitutional rights, right? Everybody's still Americans. If I'm going to change their rights, would I be okay if down the line they did the same thing in my profession?
So do you think as a policeman in a badge, none of all your rights don't get not changed, but are looked at differently?
Absolutely. There is, because they have so many protections.
Once again,
I agree with you.
It's not something that we also tell you, hey, you have to be a cop. Cops, I feel, are special people. It's a calling to be a cop. So if you can't just wake up and you could wake up and be a cop, but that's not cops to me. You know what I'm saying? That's just somebody going to try to get a check.
No doubt.
So like Cody said, he knew he wanted to be a cop all his life. You know what I'm saying? And something you wanted to be all your life, it's going to be certain things that you would agree to or not agree to if it's put in front of you day one. And that's all I'm saying.
But and what I'm getting at is if they change that law today, that's not something that was put forth to me day one.
I understand. But hey, once again, it was an opinion.
Yeah.
All right.
But right.
Hold on. I want to answer your part. I'm sorry. I keep putting the mic away. So when our company did a buyover, switch over, we went with another company. It had some rules that was changed, and it had some senior people that was there. We didn't just force them people to take that. We presented them a package in case they didn't want to take that. So somebody in your case, even though it's over an opinion, I'm sure if that was to change, the powers that would be were like, hey, I got 50 cops that's been here 20 years. They ain't going to even take this. All right, well, let's put a package in place. You don't want to do this? We can't keep you. Here you go, and take your time and go.
There's no doubt.
And like a retirement package?
Pretty much.
It's severance
not
package.
A retirement, a severance package.
Severance package.
So I would lose my...
Yep.
Hey, I mean, if it came into that, yeah.
You absolutely would. It'd be no different than, like you said, any other, because again, and this is again based off of Tory's avenue of his opinion. Again, if you look at it on a business standpoint, is that if they go in and change policy and procedure,
right,
like a new company's taking over.
Well, I mean, and it's not just the Fifth Amendment. They're looking at, they're attacking qualified immunity. They're attacking a lot of things, and using this to try to take a lot of those things away, right? And some things I'm for, some things I'm not, right?
Of course.
Taking away qualified immunity, I'm not for that.
They'll never take that away. I think they're going to adjust it.
Now, and look, if it's adjusted in a way that makes the community safer.
Hey, I'm about to hit you with a cop question.
Yes.
If I pull you over, right?
Uh-huh.
And you want to search my car, and I tell you I ain't got nothing in it, and you say, well, why you don't want to let me search your car? And you already told me I ain't got nothing in it. You ain't got nothing to hide, so why you don't want to get rid of your qualified immunity?
I'm not understanding. Like, you pulled me over?
You pulled me over, right? Hey, man.
I pulled you over.
You
Okay.
pulled me over. Hey, man, I
Right.
smell something in your car. You got anything in there?
That's
no.
different.
It is different. But
If I smell something, it's different.
Hey, man, you got anything in your car? No, you don't smell nothing. Can I check it? No, you can't check it. Why you don't want to let me check it, man? You gonna make me have to call these people and get this search warrant and do all this? Hold on, Cody. I'm talking just like this.
All right.
Right? And then you do all that and you find out he ain't have anything, right? And now you like, man, why you made me go through all this if you ain't have anything? Right?
Well, I'm first off.
You never heard no cops talk anybody down like that?
I've heard cops say, look, but again, everything's situational. Okay.
That's why the uniform and the death is situation.
That's not what I'm getting at. Because if I pull someone over and there's precursors to them, like they're more nervous than usual. They're not answering the roadside interview. Because everybody's nervous when they're pulled over.
Right.
But you don't see that statement right there gives me the freaking creeps. It drives me nuts because you don't know that person's normal state of behavior. So I understand. I get, and again, that's your training. It's instilled in y'all.
That's one. Listen to me.
But boy, that is a determining factor for so many things going bad.
But you're getting yourself worked up. You're not even letting me finish, right?
Because it's a worked up situation.
That's one thing. That's just one. If it's just over nervousness and there's no other precursors, I can't even call a dog out there, right? You can't. But if you have the increased nervousness,
change that so you can't, so you're not supposed to. Because they do. I mean, especially now with the number of people that have camera phones and the things that dash cameras, there's so many things that are caught from start to finish that it's going. And again, they are reprimanded. I'm not